everyone. In this video, we will be solving the error we had in the last video, which was the pie game. The thing was not running properly, so we need to fix that, which is only going to take a couple of seconds, and then we can just start. So the first thing we'll have to do is we'll actually have to see our code. Well, in our whole thing, we can't really see any error, right? So the thing we'll have to do is we have to come to the pygame.quit, and then we need to make it something like nothing. So we just need to get rid of that. Doesn't help us out with anything. And that's all we need. So if I were to go and run this, I would be seeing my empty window, and I think, oh yeah, and I also have a typo in Pong right there. So let me just open this real quick. You can see that it's okay, and we can close it with the button. And we get exit code 0 at the end, which means all okay. When we define the paddle's position, we have something called the original x, where the thing starts. Well, that's 0 and 0. So you can say self.x is equal to self.original x. So I'm going to write this like original x is equal to x, like that. And then I'm going to duplicate this line for the y, and I'm just going to get rid of this line. And then we just need to change the x to the y. So original y equal to self.y. Now we can see that we have something called the center. This will not change when the x changes, so we don't have to worry about that. And whatever position we specify it to start at, that's always gonna be the position we are gonna start at. And we're not gonna change that, which we can only change the x, which is a pretty good way of doing this. And now we need something called our draw, so we can actually see our paddles on the screen. So I'm going to click on this, come here, and then do one blank line space for 28, so 28 should be blank. And then I'm going to hit backspace, and then I'm going to define a function called draw. And this takes the self, and it also takes the window, which we're only going to call the win. And what we can do now is we can just use draw. We can use the draw method, and we can draw a rectangle at whatever position we have. So I'm going to use pygame.draw. Okay, so we have pygame.draw, and then we want to draw something called a rectangle. And then first of all, it takes the window, which we can just pass through like that. And then we need the self.color, so the color, which is white. And I'll show you guys how to invert this at the end, so self.color. And then now we take something called position. Oh wait, no. Yeah, we did the color. And now we need to pass the position and the bounds. So let's do that. I'm going to put a comma. And then for the position, we're just going to use self.x and self.y. Self.x. Self.y, and then we need to put self.width, then we need to put self.height. There we go. Now that we have a way to draw our things, we should create something to draw them to the screen, because that's always a good practice when you're doing this. So we're going to create a function called draw, which takes all of the things we have. So I'm going to define it like right here. And then all we need to write is define. And then we need to write draw. This takes, oh my god, I just pressed insert. This takes our window. So we just need to pass our window, our paddles. So for now, we're just going to use our window and their paddles. Later on, we're going to have the ball, the left score, and the right score, so we can draw those. And paddles will have two. So paddles is going to be an array. And we can actually, first of all, we need to fill our window with black. So win.fill colon equals, not win.fill equals, so we need to say win, I think I'm spelling it wrong, win.fill black. And I really like the autocompletes I get. So sin.fill win.fill black. And remember, we defined black as a constant, so we have to use that. So the thing we need to do, I actually want to call this so I can get some autocompletes. So in our run, so while true, as soon as we tick our clock, we want to draw our win in our window and our paddles, and we want to give the win. So the window is equal to the window, like that. And then the paddles, for the paddles, we're going to do something different. We're going to use LP, and then our RP, which is our left paddle and our right paddle. Good. So once we have our left paddle and right paddle, the thing we'll want to do is actually create our left paddle and our right paddle. So we have our left and right score right now done. And what we can do is just come up to here after our scores, and then we can create something called LP and RP, which is just left paddle and right paddle. So I'm going to create LP is equal to, it's a paddle. So LP is the paddle on the left side. So paddle, it takes an X, which is just going to be 10. A Y, which is going to be height divided by 2. Height divided by 2. And we want it to be equal, just like a hard-coded number. So we need to say height with 2 divides. And then we want to subtract it by the paddle height. So paddle underscore height, which we also need to divide by 2. And then we can just pass the other props like so. So paddle width, and our paddle height. Simple. Now we need to do our right paddle, which is going to be simple. All we need to do is we need to say right paddle, and we shouldn't just do that, and then call it RP paddle. It's going to be a paddle with this is going to be width minus 10. Width minus 10. So width is our screen width. And this is going to be height divided by 2, minus our paddle width. Minus our paddle height. Oh, wait. So it's going to be width minus 10. And so the position on the X is going to be width minus 10, minus the paddle width. So let me just put that right there. And then our position on the Y is just going to be height divided by 2 minus paddle height divided by 2. And we just pass the last 2 props as like so. Come up here where we have our draw function. In here, we can actually see what the win has now. So win dot, we can see that. Good. Let's go back to our draw. So let's get down there. Perfect. And in the draw function, what we'll want to do is we'll want to create something called, we want to do something called a loop to loop through every paddle and then draw that paddle. So we say for paddle in paddles, and then for each paddle we just want to say paddle dot draw. All we need to pass is the window. Since we're using a separate function for drawing, watch this. Okay, so we have a little bug, which I'm not that sure about. So I think it's the positions or the color. So win.fill black is working correctly, and then we're going through every paddle we have, and then we're drawing it to the window, and then we loop through that. Oh yeah, we forgot to do pygame.display.update to update our display every single frame. So pygame.display.update. It's a pretty bad thing people forget, but now we can see our paddles in the center of our screen. Pretty good for right now. And we can't move them. So the left person should be able to move them with W and S. The right person should be able to move it with up, down, and up arrow and down arrow. So for that, we can add some controls to our paddle. So in our paddle, we can create something called move. So you want to create a function called move. So define move. And then we can create, it gives us self by default, and this needs up is equal to true. Self up is equal to true, and then that's what we can do, like so. And then in there we can say if up. If we do want to go up, then just do the self dot y minus equals the self dot velocity. So self dot velocity. Oh wait, vel. Well, we need to give our paddle a velocity so we can actually move our ship. Our paddle. I'm saying ship. So we can. So for moving our paddle, all we need to do is just give it a velocity, and I'm just gonna set that to 4. 4 is a pretty good velocity if you are on a computer. It should work for you. If it doesn't work, just mess around with the numbers. Sometimes it'll be too slow. Sometimes it'll be too fast. Based on you, just adjust it, and you should be able to get a good feel for your game. Now we need to type else, and then we're going to say self.y plus equals our self.vel. So self.vel. And in here, we should be able to move move our paddle. And now we need to give it some key bindings to move our paddle. Well, moving our paddle will actually be done in our main function, so we don't need a draw function right now. So come to your main function, and we need to be in while run, so that's where you should be right now. And then in the run function, what you want to do is get keys, something called keys in Pygame. So I'm just going to do this and create something called keys equal to Pygame dot key dot get pressed. And then this will get all the keys we have currently pressed in like every 5 seconds. And then we can just use a function called handle paddle movement. So we're going to create a function, and right here, right above our main, 1 enter, 2 enters, and then there, and then just define that function. So define handle underscore paddle underscore movement. It gets the keys. We have keys. Our paddle, our left paddle, I'm just going to do LP, and our right paddle, so I'm just going to do RP. And let's just pass that real quick, so it's not going to take that long. Come down here, right under the keys, and then what we can do is create use our left paddle and our right paddle, and just interchange them pass them through to the function we have on top, which is handle paddle movement. So I'm just going to call that right there, so handle paddle movement. We get the keys, and we get the left paddle and our right paddle. Pretty easy. Now what we do is, in here we have everything ready for us. Now we can check for our keystrokes. So if keys index pygame dot k, so key is for k underscore, and then we want just w, and left paddle dot y is less than is subtracted the left paddle dot velocity, left underscore paddle, oh my god, left paddle dot velocity, paddle dot, oh my god, I cannot type today, left paddle dot velocity, and then we want to check if it's greater than or equal to 0. This is only so we can check if it's going to go off screen or not. And the thing we'll do is we'll call the left paddle to move. So I'm just going to use lp.move. Move. And then by default it is going to go up, so we don't need to pass in anything. And what we can do is we can just duplicate this a few times. So I'm just going to do Control D, Control D, Control D. We need it 3 times. There. And then all we need to do is just correct the indentation, so Shift Tab. And then all of these, I'll just put I'll just multi-cursor on these. Alt, Alt, and Alt. So you can use just Alt-click to multi-cursor. And this is just going to be bottom, so this is going to be K underscore S. And then we say plus, and is less than. Our height, not 0 anymore, or else we'll not be able to move and we'll just be stuck. Left paddle, we're going to say left paddle dot move up is equal to false, or we can just pass in false. And we can do the same thing, but this time we can say K up. And then we can say dot Y. Left paddle dot Y, we can just push it up. So that's just going to be simply left paddle. So this time we need to do right paddle to the right paddle dot velocity, and then we can just push it up like that. So right paddle dot move, and then we can say right paddle dot move with false. And this is going to be K down. Right paddle dot Y is this. That's correct. Just need to change some properties here. And that should be it for moving our paddles. So I'm going to run the game. I'm going to try moving our left. So we can't go up. We can only go down. See? We can go up and down for our left one. But let's see if we get knocked back on our left one. Oh, we can still just move off screen. Okay, we can't move off screen for the top, but we can move off screen for the bottom. And, oh, I think I know what the problem is for the right one. We need to give it a height here. So when we're going down, instead of this, we just give it our height. And I believe oh yeah. So this is what we need to change like that. And then this should be like this. Yeah. Hits the top, stops. Doesn't stop when it hits the bottom. Same with the right one. So there's a bug in our bottom stopping code. So let me just see that real quick. So oh wait, we also need to add the right paddle dot height, or else it's just gonna go off screen. So I think I'm doing something wrong here, so this should be subtracted. And then this should be added to plus rp.height plus our rp.val is less than that. So let's just see that. Just did that one, so that stops there. That stops there. The thing is, it's stopping after it gets off screen. We just don't want that. So now that we're good with that, all we need to do is do the same thing for this. So plus left paddle dot height plus left paddle dot velocity. Now that we're good with that, let's just hit the run button. And then we can go up, we can go down, and it'll block us up. And we can hit the bottom. So that's it for this video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you do not miss another video. And who wants to miss another video? I mean, I don't. So, be sure to like, subscribe. That's it for me. See you later. Peace.